everybody, and welcome to this very special workshop for Cruinniú, specially for Bingo libraries. It's great to be here today. My name is Nolan, and I'm an illustrator, I'm a writer, and I write and I draw books. Books especially for children, books like Finton's 15, Connor's Caveman, Death by Chocolate, and the Sam Hannigan series for the O'Brien Press. Now, I love writing. I absolutely adore writing. I'm always writing, I'm always coming up with ideas for characters, ideas for stories, and I equally love drawing. I absolutely love drawing. I've been drawing my new book, which is called Animal Crackers, which I am writing with a brilliant author called Sarah Webb. That's coming out in August. And I'm also at the moment working on the second book in the Gordon's Game series by Paul Howard and Gordon Darcy, the amazing rugby player. And these are books for kids. The first one came out just before Christmas last year, and the next one is coming out in the autumn. So I'm drawing that at the moment as well. So I'm up to here with rugby players, but it's brilliant, brilliant fun. Now, I love writing, I love drawing, but you know what? I especially love reading. And that's why you can always find me in libraries. Now, I live in Bray in County Wicklow, so I'm in Wicklow libraries, I'm in Donegal Ratdown libraries, but I do an awful lot of workshops at Bingo libraries. I'm into Blanchardstown Library all the time. I love libraries. I just love reading so much. And the reason I love reading so much is because when I was a kid, I was really lucky. I lived at home with my mum and my dad, my sister. But my dad was great because my dad was a book nut. He used to collect books, and we only lived in a small enough house. But the house was jam-packed full of books. There were books everywhere because my dad collected them. Every single surface was covered in books. The kitchen table was covered in books. The presses were covered in books. All the counters in the kitchen were covered in books. If you wanted to make a ham sandwich, you'd have to move all the books out of the way before you could butter your piece of bread. It was crazy. He was so crazy about books. He had these huge big bookshelves in every single room of the house. And they went right up to the ceiling. And they were jam-packed full of books. They're so full of books he couldn't possibly fit another book in. And he loved collecting them. But when our friends would call around, they'd ding dong on the door and Cormac would come in and he'd say, "Janie McAllen Nolan, do you live in a library?" And I think that's why I enjoy libraries so much, because they feel like home to me. I just love reading so much. Now, when I am writing my books, I love coming up with characters, I love coming up with names. For instance, in the Sam Hannigan books, we have Sam Hannigan, who is a big animal lover. She loves big animals. So she loves animals like big tubby dogs, big tubby cats, anything furry that she can cuddle, she loves. Her best friend in the whole world is called Ajay Patel. He loves animals as well, but the type of animals he likes aren't the type of animals that people like usually. They're like creepy crawlies and bugs and snakes and spiders and rats and mice and scorpions and stuff like that. He loves all those kind of animals. There's Bruno, who is Sam Hannigan's bold brother who's always playing tricks on her. And there's Nanny Gig. And Nanny Gig is one of my favourite characters because she is based on my real life nanny, who was also called Nanny Gig. And Nanny Gig in the books is absolutely crazy. She looks after Sam and she looks after Bruno. They all live in Tala in County Dublin in a small little ramshackle house. But in the book she's nuts. And in real life, my real granny was crazy as well. But I loved her because she was a great storyteller. She was so good at buying us books and buying us comics. She had a great job. She used to work in a sweet shop, so she'd bring us home free sweets. And every Saturday she'd bring home loads and loads of free comics for us as well that were just about to go into recycling. So when I'm writing my books, I always like to put real life stories into my books. And in one book that I wrote, there's one real life story which I have to tell you about. The book is called Sam Hannigan and the Last Dodo. And in the book, they live in a suburb of Tala called Clobberstown. And there is a talent show in Clobberstown called Clobberstown Has Got Talent. So Sam Hannigan and Ajay Patel decide that they're going to enter the talent show. And Sam's special talent when she gets up on stage, she has these pipes and she has a python because, as well as loving animals, they actually keep animals in the house. So it's called Hannigan's Haven, where they live in Clobberstown. They have koalas and really strange animals. They have monkeys, koalas, crocodiles. They even have a giraffe in the back garden. But they have loads of snakes as well. And she brings Priscilla, the python, along with her. and she brings these pair of pipes, and she tries to do a snake charming sort of act, where Priscilla the Python will come out of a wicker laundry basket and start hissing around. But of course, Priscilla the Python is not trained, doesn't know how to do it, and a big mess happens. But the funny part for me, and the bit that was taken from life, is the bit that happens with Ajay, because Ajay does a puppet show with a ventriloquist puppet. And when I was a kid, my sister and me used to enter talent competitions all the time. My sister was a brilliant singer. She's a brilliant singer now, but she was a great singer then. She had red hair and it was kind of fuzzy. And she used to come out and sing songs from Annie, like, tomorrow, I love you, all that kind of stuff. And I really wanted to join in as well, but I couldn't sing. So what I used to do was I got myself a ventriloquist dummy, like a puppet. It was a little tramp, and it looked like this. And I used to bring that on stage, and I would do the worst ventriloquist act ever, because I couldn't do it. Ventriloquist means you throw your voice. So you try and keep your mouth still and make it look like the dummy is speaking and not you. And I wasn't able for it. I just couldn't do it. I still can't do it now, obviously. But when I was a kid, you know what I did? I was, to get over not being able to do it, I was just as funny as I could be. Probably unintentionally funny. But I used to wear a long coat when I get up on stage. I'd have a big old battered old suitcase that had the dummy inside. I'd have a hat on my head. And I'd come up like this onto the stage, and I'd just look around as if I didn't know what I was doing, which I didn't. And then I'd put the suitcase on the ground, and I'd turn around, my back to the audience, and I'd stick my bum up in the air, taking the dummy out, and that'd get a big laugh. And then I'd sit on the suitcase, and I'd tell, basically, myself jokes. So I didn't even learn a script. I just had a joke book that I kind of put a fake cover on saying Alan's Joke Books. And me and my dummy called Archie would tell each other jokes, and we'd be reading them out. But we were so bad because I couldn't do it. I'd be going like this, and my lips would be moving. And the more my lips would move, the more everybody would laugh. And I remember that really well when I was writing this book. So I put it into the book. And now I'm going to read you a little bit from Sam Hannigan and the Last Dodo. This book, Sam Hannigan and the Last Dodo, is all about Sam and Ajay and how they're given a dodo bird to mind. Now, the dodo is a bird that went extinct like 350 years ago. So this is the last dodo in existence, or so they think. So they have to keep it really secret from people who are trying to catch it, poachers who are trying to catch it and eat it and roast it and make dodo nuggets and all that kind of stuff. So they have it in disguise the whole time. They have it hidden in the house out in Clobberstown. But something terrible happens on the day that Ajay and Sam enter Clobberstown's Got Talent. And we're picking up the story when Sam has just done her snake charming trick, and it hasn't gone too well. And now it's Ajay's turn, and Ajay gets up on stage with his, he's wearing a long coat. He kind of looks a bit like Paddington. He's wearing a long duffel coat. He's got a kind of floppy hat on his head, and he's got a huge big battered suitcase. So I'm going to take up the story, which starts about here. Just then, Ajay's number was called out, and with a quick thumbs up to Sam, he pulled his heavy brown leather suitcase onto the stage. "Janie Mackers, snakes on a stage," Patrick the milkman was saying to the audience. "You know, they say a nice big cup of milky tea is good for a shock. The milkier the better." A few people tittered nervously at this, still getting over the shock of coming to face with a real live python that Sam had brought up. But Ajay could hear Nanny Gig's loud guffaws coming from the back of the hall. "Next up," said Patrick, "we have a young ventral puppet person, Ajay Patel." Ajay looked into the audience, but he couldn't make out where Nanny Gig was sitting. He couldn't see anyone beyond the second row because the spotlight was shining straight in his face. He shrugged, turned his back on the audience, and bent down to open the huge battered suitcase. The audience broke out in laughter at the sight of his blue duffel-coated behind sticking up in the air. Ajay, puzzled, looked around wearing his brown floppy-brimmed hat, and the audience laughed even louder. Thought Ajay, "this is going great. The crowd loves me." He turned back to the audience, clicked the fasteners, and flipped open the lid. Inside the case, where he had expected to find Archie, his trusty though slightly wonky, tramp-like ventriloquist dummy, was sitting a huge ball of blue and yellow feathers. Horror dawned on Ajay's wide eyes as a scaly yellow foot appeared from the feathery bundle, followed by a yellow and red beak. "Desmond," whispered Ajay, "that's where you got to. What have you done with Archie?" He glanced back at the audience, who were quiet now, waiting for the act to begin, and was glad he was wearing the oversized duffel coat. It blocked them from seeing that, holy moly, aren't they meant to be extinct? Dodo. Ajay reached under the big bird, looking in vain for his puppet. But Desmond pecked at him with his beak. "Okay," he said, thinking quickly. "There's only one way out of this. Desmond, if you stay still and cooperate, I'll go to the supermarket and get you the biggest mango you've ever seen." Desmond gave a quiet squawk. Before he could change his mind, Ajay hoisted Desmond the dodo out of the suitcase with a loud grunt of effort. He slammed the lid shut and sat down on the case with a large bird on his knee. There were oohs and ahs from the crowd. "What a beautiful puppet," whispered one old lady. "Aren't those feathers only gorgeous?" murmured another. Ajay coughed nervously. He caught sight of Sam standing at the side of the stage. She had her hands up to her mouth and a very panicked look on her face. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "my name is Ajay and this is this is Desmond the, duck? Yes, Desmond the duck, that's his name. We're going to tell you some jokes, aren't we, Desmond?" At that point in the act, Ajay could make Archie, the ventriloquist dummy, answer back that yes, indeed, they were going to tell the audience some jokes. Ajay made Archie speak by pulling a lever hidden inside the dummy's back. Unfortunately, dodos don't have levers. In desperation, Ajay squeezed the back of the dodo's neck softly, and to Ajay's combined astonishment and relief, Desmond opened his beak and gave the quietest squawk he had ever given. "Yes," said Ajay, his lips rigid and his teeth clenched. The audience laughed, which gave Ajay a bit of a boost. They might just get through this after all. Ajay coughed again. I say, he said to Desmond. "What's the difference between a fly and a bird?" He clenched his teeth again and pressed on Desmond's neck. Desmond opened his beak. "I don't know," Ajay made Desmond say. "What is the difference between a fly and a bird?" "A bird can fly, but a fly can't bird," said Ajay. Desmond flapped his wings and squawked. The crowd went wild with laughter. A few people clapped in enjoyment. "That puppet is amazing," cried one little girl in the front row. Ajay smiled and looked down at Desmond. This is actually working. I say, he went on. "What does a vet give to a sick bird?" He pressed again on Desmond's neck, and the dodo opened his beak. "I know this one," Ajay made the huge dodo say. "He gives a sick bird treatment." The audience laughed heartily yet again. They were enjoying the sight of the blue and yellow feathered puppet so much. They didn't even notice that Ajay was moving his lips the whole way through. Ajay told as many bird jokes as he could remember, including a few truly awful ones he had read on the little slips of paper that fell out of Christmas crackers. Each time Desmond played his part perfectly, opening up his beak as Ajay made him talk, waving his wings and wagging his small dodo tail vigorously to make the audience laugh even harder. Ajay racked his brains for a bird joke funny enough to give his act the big ending it deserved. "I have one last joke for you, Desmond," he said to the bird singing in his ear, "and then we'll let this lovely audience recover and catch their breath before the next act." He thought furiously. What was the best bird joke he had ever heard? Whatever it was, he couldn't remember it. So he said, I say, Desmond, what did one egg say to the other egg?" "I don't know," he made Desmond say. "What did one egg say to the other egg?" Ajay stood up, holding on to Desmond tightly. "Let's get cracking," he shouted. "Thank you very much. You've been a wonderful audience." That was taken from real life. So when you're writing your own books or when you're coming up with ideas for stories, think about stories that you've heard from your mum, heard from your dad, heard from your uncle, heard from your auntie, heard from your grannies. Grannies and granddads are brilliant at telling stories. Sit down on their knee one day and say, Nanny, Grandad, tell me a story about what happened when you were young. And they will have brilliant stories. And keep them in your head, and you can use them in your own stories when you're writing. So when I finally came to draw Sam Hannigan in the book, I wanted to give her own unique look as well. So I gave her red hair, like my sister. I gave her these two hair buns that go at the top of her head, which was handy because in the first book, and you can see it up here, she actually changes into a dog. So when she changes into a dog, the two hair buns become the doggy's ears, the flappy ears like that. So I'm going to show you how to draw her. She's really easy to draw. All you need is a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper. So guys, in the middle of your piece of paper, draw Sam Hannigan. If you want to follow along with me and you can draw it with me, we're going to start off with Sam Hannigan's eyes. And they are basically two big circles. So to draw those eyes, what I'm going to do is, in the middle of my sheet, I'm going to draw a circle here. It's going around like that, and around like that. Don't worry if it's a bit bockety, it's only a bit of practice. It's only for ourselves, it's fun. And then right beside that, I'm going to draw another circle. Just leave a little gap between them. Another circle like that. Cool. And there are the outside of her eyes. Then we're going to draw the inside of her eyes, little pupils. And we make those little black shiny pupils. So we'll do that by drawing another circle in here. So it looks like we have a donut. Okay. But then inside this little tiny circle, I'm going to draw an even smaller circle up at the right-hand corner. And that's going to be a little sparkle in her eye. And then I'm going to colour the rest of that area in black. Right? So we have a little black sparkly eye. And it's always a great idea to put a little sparkle in the eye because it really brings a character to life. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same on this side. We're going to draw another circle going around like that. Another little highlight up at the top right-hand corner. And then I'm going to colour in that whole area black. Cool. Excellent. Good stuff. So we have our two eyes. We give her some eyelashes as well because she had eyelashes in the book. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do her nose. Now her nose is easy to do because it's basically a letter J. So to do her nose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, right between her eyes, over to one side, I'm just going to draw a J shape that comes down like that and back up like that. Okay? And then we'll just put a little bit of shading on her nose like that. Brilliant. Now, Sam Hannigan is a very happy character. She's always smiling. So we're going to draw her with a big smile. Now, she's got a toothy smile. She's got her teeth out like that. And I'm going to draw those as little roundy teeth that kind of look like semicircles. But we draw the curve first for her smile. So she's got a big, broad smile. So I'm going to start at about here and bring it right over. So nearly directly under the eyes. I'm going to start it here and bring it over to about here. All right, so from here to about there. Cool. And then we'll do her little bockety teeth. Now, she's got little roundy teeth in the book, so I'm going to draw them like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. And that's Sam's teeth. Cool. The next thing we're going to do are Sam's ears. Now, she's got little roundy ears, so we're going to draw them a little bit like a C shape, like the letter C. So we'll start off here with the letter C, about between the top of her eye and the bottom of her nose. We'll kind of draw it here, C shape like that. Okay. And then for her other ear, we're going to do it exactly the same height. We're going to do another C shape that comes around like that. Brilliant. And then for the inside of her ear, we're just going to draw another C shape, but we're going to do it backwards, depending on which C shape or which direction your C shape is going. This one's going this way, so I'm going to do the inside of her ear going the other way like that. And then I'm going to put a little black blob at the end of it, just for the inside of her ear hole. Cool. And then we do the same on the other side. So the C shape is going that way. I'm going to do the ear, or the inside of her ear going this way, with a little black blob down there. Excellent. And then we'll do her hair. Now her hair is really, really curly. It's like mad fuzzy hair. It's really curly and it's really red. It's kind of red like traffic lights. You know, the amber on a traffic light, it's that kind of orangey red. It's nearly glow in the dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw curly lines coming across like that at a slight angle coming down from one side of her face over to the other. So over right here, I'm going to draw a curly line that curls around like that, or wiggly, 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 waggly, like that. Okay. And then another similar curly line over it. The curls can be going in different directions if you want, like that. And then lastly, another curly line over that curly line. So 3 curly lines stacked on top of each other. Another curly line going like this. And that's a really wiggly, waggly one, because that's the top of her head. And then to do her little buns, space buns, what we're going to do is I'm going to draw 2 kind of circle shapes either side, but they're going to be like sort of clouds as they go around, all right? So they're going to have little bumps on them and wiggles. So a bump, a bump, a bump, a bump, a bump. There's one of our space buns. And then over the other side, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Another space bump going bump, 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 bump. Excellent. Maybe just a little bit of hair in there just to finish it off, and a little bit of hair coming down there. Excellent. And now we're nearly done. We just need to do her chin and her neck. So to do her chin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a curve coming from her ear down to just below her mouth. And then I'm going to do another curve coming from this ear down just below her mouth. But I'm not going to let the 2 curves meet in the middle, because that's where the neck joins onto her head. So I'm going to draw this curve coming around like this, up. Excellent. And then this curve will come around like this, up. And then 2 straight lines down for her neck, bump, bump. And then we're going to do a little smile shape for her chin, just between these 2 curves. So just at the top of her neck, little smile shape for her chin like that. Little shadow underneath it as well. And then we're nearly finished. All we need to do is finish off her neck. So we put a couple of little lines in there for the top of her t-shirt. Maybe shoulders coming down like that. And then to finish it off, Sam Hannigan has a freckly face. So we just draw a couple of little freckles. Maybe 2 on one side and 3 on the other. A few little hairs in here. A few hairs coming off. And that is your Sam Hannigan. Well done, everybody. Well, guys, it was an absolute delight to do this workshop with you today. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. It's brilliant to be here for Cruinniú, which is a fantastic day, and especially brilliant to be here for Fingal libraries, because libraries are such amazing places. So it's goodbye for me, and it's goodbye for Sam, and I hope I'll see you soon. See ya!